I'm not very happy about having to go after two good talks. I just want you to know that quick, right up front. I'm not happy about that at all. Mark Mitchell suckered me into coming here. He told me that I would be talking for the full 6 hours today. I didn't find out until this morning when Patrick Deneen came to my room to iron my shirt and make my coffee that I had to listen to him speak. I just about got on a plane and went home. But since I'm here, I'll go ahead and talk to you a little bit about some things that I've been involved in to get students to take more seriously what I'm going to call here domestic arts. I'm going to begin with an arguable proposition. I'm not going to make the argument for it, I'm just going to state it and proceed from there. You can dispute the proposition later if you want to. Or another way to put this would be to say, I had thought to raise some questions today, but time is limited, so I'm going to have to proceed straight to the answers. But I have a feeling, pretty well entrenched by now, that one of the real problems we face in education is that we treat it as an easy elevator ride up out of the drudgery of doing necessary work by which all of us live. And it's an elevator ride because nobody will take the stairs anymore. And it's a bad thing to call necessary work drudgery. It's not drudgery, it's necessary. And it's astonishing to me the number of people who go to our colleges and universities in this country with one goal in mind, and that is to buy a diploma, which makes them card-carrying members of the most rapacious economy the world has ever known, and entitles them to do nothing the rest of their lives but sit on their asses, while other people who did not pay for diplomas have to do all the necessary work. I have this vision of the future. Maybe Bill Kaufman can write this science fiction novel sometime. It's 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be a race of really, really fat people with skinny index fingers, because all we'll be doing is pushing the button on a mouse. That's the only exercise that we're ever going to get. A nation of fat asses and skinny fingers. That's the meme. Put it out there. Get people talking about it. A few years ago, my institution instituted a graduation requirement. And this graduation requirement is called a learning community. Now that's an abuse of two words, learning and community. But the idea, and frankly I think it's a pretty good one, the idea is that students will have to take paired classes. These are the learning communities. And those paired classes are supposed to be attempts to look at a problem or a set of problems from two different disciplinary perspectives. So the students who take one class will also be taking this other class. Now, it's not a bad idea, really. One of the problems, however, this is the kind of mistakes that institutions sometimes make, is that they instituted a requirement without providing enough classes to graduate the senior class. And so one year, we were trying to put a bunch more of these learning communities on books so that we could put the students in them and give the credit for the requirement we were putting for them. So my buddy Charlie, this is Charlie Mahaffey, he's a cultural geographer, and unfortunately he retires after this year and will be moving to Sweden, where his Swedish wife has recently moved to take a job. He and I put together a course that we call Environmental Literature and Landscape, and he does resource management, urban design, weather and climate. And we offered two sections of this one year, and we were doing the planning for it, and we decided that one of the things we were going to do is make the students do some actual work with their hands. And this is a picture of Charlie out on this farm, which I'll be talking about in a second. But one of the first things we did was push buttons that don't make anything happen. One of the first things we did was con the administration into giving us a house. The administration the college buys up houses around the campus, and so we went, why don't you give us one of these houses and we'll show the students what to do with an old house to make it more efficient, and these are things that they're going to learn to pay attention to pretty soon. And so the administration made a mistake of giving us this house. It's a really, really bad house. It had mold in it and all kinds of things that we didn't anticipate. But our plan was we're going to go in here and we're going to teach these kids how to fix this house. We're going to teach them how to measure for windows. We're going to teach them how to put in windows, drill in insulation in the walls and the ceiling, do lower door tests, that sort of thing. So we got this house, and it's just up the street from the president's mansion. And one of the great things about this project is that at the end of it, we had on the same street the most consumptive house owned by the college and the least consumptive house owned by the college, all within about an 8-iron from each other. So here it is. We got to work on it outside. And it looks pretty bad inside. One of our principles was we're going to try to recycle everything that's in the house. And you can see that there's a sink there that was part of the original, a nice cast iron sink that we kept. But it was pretty bad shape. You can see from some of these slides that it didn't look very good. That's where the sink was and where it would be again when we were done. And the faculty, they thought we were crazy. What does an English professor and a cultural geographer, what do they think they're doing trying to fix this house up? Well, it turns out that Charlie and I know how to do a few things, and we think students should know how to do a few things. We decided that one of the big ticket items we were going to do was spend some money on geothermal, so we brought a guy in. He had invented this system himself. He put a rig on a bobcat. He could go in, he could put a geothermal system in a space about half the size of this stage. And we got him to do this for about, I'm going to say $14,000, $15,000, $16,000, something like that. Turns out that he was actually a graduate of Augustana College. Really good at talking to people, came in, did demonstrations, drove the test course, showed the students how this works and why it's a good idea. And we'd take classes up there on muddy, snowy days and watch them do the work. You can see on the slide on the left, the auger, he would just put an auger in the ground and he'd add another one to it. He'd go down about 50 feet. He did 5 or 6 cores for the lids for the geothermal system. And we would heat the house in the winter and cool it in the summer this way. We decided that the students were going to do some other things. They ought to make some rain barrels. I got a friend who's a president of a bakery in town, and he gets these barrels full of molasses and vanilla. They smell really good, but all he does is throw them out. So we went and got them, and we came up with some designs for some rain barrels, and we made the students do something with them. And they, for about 15, 20 bucks, they could make rain barrels, and they could sell them at 40, 50 bucks, and that was still better than any price in town. Whenever I can, I try to get students to use power tools that the proper safety officers have not trained them to use yet. I'm always trying to find, if there's a rule, I'm going to try to break it. So one year we said, well, go make something, go build something. So we had some kids who wanted to build a picnic table, and they put together these slides for me, actually. And at the top left slide, you see these guys trying to put a diagonal in to brace the table, and the girl said, why don't you turn that table upside down and make it a lot easier? So you see from the bottom slide that they did that. It's good to have the brawn and brains on the same project. But I'm dealing with the average undergraduate male here, so I've got to have the average undergraduate female there to help them do his job. They did a pretty good job, and as a joke, this bottom left slide, they had one kid on his cell phone painting the table in. They did that just for me. But we decided that we wanted to make this house as ecologically sound as we could. The college was about to come in and put a cement driveway and said, no, we're putting permeable papers in the driveway. No, you're not. That's too expensive. So we showed them the bid, which was less than concrete. Suddenly it became a good idea to put permeable pavers in the driveway. And of course, this lets the rainwater go back where it belongs, which is in the ground. We did rainwater retention on the gutters. You can see from this slide that we spent the money to put a metal roof on the house. This is about a 50-year roof that probably, I don't know how long it will last, but it cost us a little bit more money, but it seemed to us to be the right move here. And then we decided we were going to get into the production of food. After we got this house done, our real goal was that all along we wanted to get into food production, but we didn't really know how to do that yet. So we did the house first. And then we told these kids one year we're going to try to get them into gardening, and these two guys were business majors in the class for no other reason than to meet the requirement. And they said to us, we think there's a garden out behind our fraternity house. I said, well, what makes you think that? I said, well, it's fenced in and it's full of weeds. I said, well, it's a garden. Well, we didn't. We put some food in there. And so they did, and the remarkable thing is they just had a blast doing this. They did a nice presentation on it when they were done. We had a little straw bale greenhouse there in the fall to extend the growing season. These windows actually came out of my house. I was replacing 4 or 5 windows a year until I had them all done. But I kept the glass windows to make a straw bale greenhouse here. These guys, I'm glad to say, are still doing this kind of work. They graduated now, but they kind of got really interested in it. And one day, I got a call from a reporter at USA Today, and she said, she's got news of what we were doing in this program, and she said, well, I can't believe this is really all that worthwhile. And I said, well, let me tell you about these 2 guys who did this garden. And so I started telling her about these two guys, and she said, well, that's kind of interesting. Can I talk to them sometime? Can you give me their phone numbers? I said, no, hold on a second. I put the phone down and went over across the hall in the classroom where they were in Charlie's class, which was after mine. I pulled them out of the classroom, and I sat them down in his office and put the speakerphone on. I said, here, talk to them. And so they spent 30, 40 minutes on the phone with this reporter, and a few weeks later, they had their pictures in USA Today, a big article about them in the newspaper. And that made the administrators very happy. There's no such thing as bad press, and good press is even better. Well, what we wanted to do is, as I said, get students into food production, and then we had this chance meeting between these 2 guys. In the slide here, you see a kind of silver-headed guy in a yellow shirt and blue jeans in the center. This guy named Jim Johansson, he's a local farmer. And the not unportly fellow in the foreground, in the blue shirt and the Bill Kaufman uniform, blue shirt and khaki pants. About the same proportions as Bill Kaufman, too. Hairline's pretty close. This is Gary Griffith, and he's our director of dining. And Gary came in, and he really shook the kitchen up to college. He said to his staff, listen, we're going to quit putting frozen pizzas in the ovens, and we're going to start cooking with food. And they all thought he was crazy, but pretty soon you go back there in the kitchen, and you see people cutting up vegetables instead of putting frozen lasagna into the oven. Well, these 2 guys went to a meeting for local growers one Friday night and met. And they were on the phone again the next morning, and they were on the phone again Monday morning, and just like that, Jim, who was a producer at the time of vegetables and fruits, had a buyer for 100% of his produce. And it was great for Jim, and it was great for Gary, and Gary calls me up and says, you got to meet this guy, he's great. So I met him, Charlie and I went to meet with him, and we said to Jim, would you be willing to let our students come out to your farm to do 15 hours of free labor during the fall term of the class? This is 45, 50 students times 15 hours. Jim ain't stupid. He knows an army of coolies when he sees them. So on the first Friday of that fall term, we said to our students, listen, we're going to go out. We want you to meet this farmer, Jim Johansson. We want you to see his operation out there. Dress appropriately. So we took him out there, and he showed him the farm, showed him his vision for the farm, and then we put them to work harvesting beans and tomatoes for the market the next day. There were kids there who were really kind of pissed off about this. I did not come to this expensive college to pick tomatoes. That may be the case, but you're going to pick them right now. This is what a ripe one looks like. All often. You can make great jokes with people who don't know anything about food. There's a potato tree over there. Go see if you can put So Jim would give tours of the farm. We started doing this, I don't know, probably 4 years ago. And the thing about Jim is he knows how to talk to a crowd. He worked as a salesman for a while before he came back to the crowd. And he really knows how to talk to people. He knows how to explain things. He would make a pretty good teacher, I think. Well, we put him to work, as I said. Once we got him out there, and we did all kinds of things that the safety officers knew nothing about. Putting up the hoop house, for example, was pretty fun. Having that kid, Don Anseal was his name, up on that ladder. I'm glad I had my camera that day, because we could boast of breaking all kinds of college rules, having these kids do this kind of work. Here's one of my favorite slides. You see what that kid sitting in the tractor is doing? I have a colleague who accuses me of the pedagogy of abuse, and I tried all my best tactics on this kid, and nothing worked. He just wanted to sit there and play with his thumbs. Had a great day picking apples one day. These guys got real interested in their farm work hours after I gave their midterms back to them. It became necessary to get 100% of the farm hour credit. The college was happy about this photograph because I got this girl wearing a new logo that cost us $1 million to come up with. So this photo has been all over the campus publications, and I've gotten not a single dime for it. That's Tara, that girl's name, her name is Tara. She and another one I'll show you in a second. During the last presidential election, they came over to my house one night and put a bunch of McCain Palin stickers or signs on my front lawn. And it was probably 50 of them. I woke up to get the newspaper in the morning and realized I was endorsing a presidential ticket I was not entirely excited about. Well, these guys were making up their midterm exam. It was apple harvest one day. And we managed to mulch an orchard in just about one afternoon. That beautiful brown Dodge pickup truck you see there is also known as the Bay Magnet. I enjoy owning a pickup truck that's older than my students. The kid on the tractor is about to crease the bed of that thing. When he turns the bucket, he didn't have a good sense to raise the bucket in the air before he dropped it. It's all right, I don't mind battle scars on the truck. One of the advantages of being the professor's son is you get to drive the Kubota, and you get to handle pests. I don't raise vegetables to feed groundhogs. This particular groundhog we named Nixon is Lord. Probably about a 30-pounder. I've got 3 male students who are now skinning these things and making groundhog stew out of them. And I've tried it, and I'm here to tell you that if you didn't know the difference, you'd think you're eating pot roast. It's not bad. They're eating good vegetables. They can't be that bad for me. Here's a couple of girls that really got into it. Jim was helping them plant cabbages there. I put this slide in here for the average undergraduate male to wake them up. Halfway through the presentation, this girl named Dana, I was going to name this slide Dana's Pumpkins, but I thought that'd be you'll understand me when I say that Dana's painted sorority toenails had never set foot on the farm until that first Friday. And she returns to the farm almost every weekend after that first Friday. She'd never been on a farm. And at the end of that year, we took 50 students out there on that first Friday. At the end of the year, over 400 students had gone out to do volunteer work on this farm, largely because Dana dragged them out there. She became the first intern on the farm the following summer. We had an arrangement where we would pay half, the college would pay half of her salary, and Jim would pay the other half. And she was a tremendous intern on that farm, the first one, and really learned a lot about how to become a local grower. And it would not surprise me at all if sometime in the future she's got a small farm of her own. Pretty talented girl. She was actually an English major. Then we decided, well, we need to have a vegetable garden on campus, and these 2 kids here on the left slide were the ones who really got it started. There's a vacant piece of land on the north end of campus, and so we asked the administration, well, can we till that up and put a garden in there? And they said, yeah, you can do that. There's a piece of land sitting right next to it, about the same size as the city owned, and it was on a bit of a slope, and you couldn't build on it because the hillside behind it had been sandbagged in the 1960s in preparation for floods. You couldn't build any houses on there. And so we went to the city and we said, well, you want to get rid of that piece of land? The city said, yeah, we want to get rid of that piece of land because they had to maintain it all the time. And so they were willing to sell us the land for $1. So we went back to the administration and said, can we buy this piece of land for $1? It took them a year to decide that was a good price. In the meantime, this guy in this slide, he decided that he would make creative use of his middle fingers, I guess. And he went to the city and he leased the land for $5 for that first year, and he put a vegetable garden in on there. I'll show you a picture of that here in a second. These 2 kids, they did this all on their own the first time. And after we had this garden up going the first year, I decided that we needed a shed down there to keep material in, and also a place for me to hold office hours, where there's no phone and no computer and no students. So I keep a lawn chair in there and a box of cigars, and there's a shelf in there for books. And if I feel like holding office hours, I go down to the field house. But if you want to get something done in a moronic bureaucracy, you gotta just operate by the assumption it's better off to ask for forgiveness than for permission. So what I did is I found the money for the shed, and I just bought the material, and I had it delivered. And I told the students, meet me down there on Saturday, we're going to put a shed up. I don't know how many of you think it's okay to build buildings on your employer's property without asking for permission. It's probably not a good idea, but I did it anyway. We just put it up. And so we spent a nice Saturday afternoon putting this thing up. I learned a lot about how you have to undo what kids who don't know how to do anything do. I put this slide in here because you can see behind these kids a bit of sloped ground. This is on the garden plot that we acquired from the city. We didn't want to till it because the ground was too sloped, and so we bought fruit trees. We put 22 fruit trees in 1 year, and the kids got those in all one afternoon. Probably should have just taken 3 kids down there to do this work. My grandfather used to say, with 1 boy you get 1 boy's work, with 2 boys you get half a boy's work, and with 3 boys you don't get any work at all. I told them, well, square the floor up. How do we do that? Take your diagonals, make sure those numbers are the same. And taught them how to use a level. The level has to be in the middle. It looks like I'm pounding a nail in and biting one of my teeth. I'm actually driving a nail in here with mental telepathy. Because I didn't have proper training in the use of a hammer from the safety officers from the college. Well, I had a senior who got interested in passing the class during finals week. He had no interest during the 10 weeks of the term. Didn't come to class, didn't do the work, didn't pass the exams. And then he said to me during finals, "Is anybody can pass this class?" I said, "Yeah, you can be born somebody else." So actually, this shed needs to be stained. Why don't you go stain it and I'll think about passing it. So he went down there and stained it. He didn't like the way the stain was going on halfway through, so we cut it with paint thinner, so I had a 2-tone shed when he was done with it. And I had to restain it anyway during the fall break. But I just got some work out of it. We had grounds crew deliver the leaves that they pick up on campus. You know, when they're blowing them around with those annoying leaf blowers and sucking them up. And well, we use it for mulch. And once our plants come up, we put about 5 inches of leaf mulch between the plants, and it's weed control. And you can walk through the garden. You don't have any problem with mud, anything like that. Kids will run a market on Fridays in the summers and sell the produce right down there at the garden. And this is the last slide I've got for you. We're working right now on getting a biodiesel converter. We did a fundraiser last year. We got a diesel truck for the farm and for the garden that the kids can use. And we're going to produce diesel fuel on campus with cooking oil from the dining services. We think that we can produce about 3,000 gallons of biodiesel fuel a year for about 40 hours of labor a year. And we think that we can produce for about 70 cents a gallon, which is a little better than $4 a gallon, which is what we're paying for diesel fuel right now. I had this machine approved for purchase in April. I still don't have it. I've been getting the runaround for a while, and I threatened the chief financial officer of the college before I left here on Friday. I said, if somebody didn't tell me when the purchase order goes in for this thing, I'm going to buy it myself and send the bill up to the president. So get the thing bought with. And if it's not, when I get back, I will. I have a college credit card. There's enough credit on it to buy this thing. I get it for about $5,000, and I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to send the bill to the president. And and he's got a choice. You know, he can exchange really good press for really bad press right away, or he can say, "Good job. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you moved forward on that." You know? We've had our continuing conversations, and now we can move forward. This is what we're doing because Charlie and I and a few others on the staff and the faculty, we think that liberal arts are great, but they have come at the expense of the domestic arts, and young people are going to need to know these skills. I think we're on our way into an energy-scarce future. I've told young women, they look around them at the available options for marriage, and you know how it is. I mean, most of them just want to open a vein and slip into a warm bath. And so I tell them, well, just go to the mall at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why should we do that? Because there's all kinds of old men walking in the mall there, and they're eligible. Okay? They're marriageable, they're nubile. And marry them, they're born in the 30s, they know how to do things. Learn the skills that they know. They're not going to be around very long. 5, 6 years, you can learn a lot. They'll be gone, you can marry somebody young. But you'll be the best 5, 6 years of your life. Well, we think students should have some of these skills, and these are some of the projects that I've been working on. Actually, I'm glad I got one more slide to show you here, and this is pretty telling. You know, these kids don't want to do this, and then they start doing it, and they love it. They just love being out there with one another, talking, doing the work, learning some things they don't know. John Crowe Ransom said in 1930, "It is a modest demand that labor partake of happiness." And one of the great surprises of this project has been seeing students learn that labor can partake of happiness. It doesn't have to be the drudgery that Earl Butz miscalled it in the 1960s and 70s. That's all. Thanks very much for your attention.